Yes. So far, so good. I love this city, so it's good to be here.
So did you watch the original show to kind of prepare for this, or read the novels?
Both. I did both. My older sister, was a big fan of the series when it was originally on, and I called her when I got the gig. I'm like, hey, I'm doing the reboot of Roswell, Mexico, and she's like, oh God, I loved that show. It's time to do an iteration without beepers. And I'm like, what? How weirdly specific is that? Without beepers? Like, great, coming up. So, and then I went back and watched the series, and I'm a big lover of fandom in specific, so in particular, so I went back and found like a list of fan favorite episodes too, and I've watched those in particular to see if we can find little moments to put Easter eggs in and stuff like that. Yeah.
And what would you say is the main difference between the first show and this one? I know that in this one, the epic love story is the center stage of everything, but how about the sci-fi part?
Yeah, the sci-fi element is huge here. We have some really wonderful writers in the room. That's their world that they operate in. So it's been fun to find ways in which things that have come up in the past, ways of symbolism. In particular, we're playing with that in our show. We're finding a way in which we're marrying the way symbolism has been an indicator of alien activity for real. But yeah, I mean, I think the main difference, we're actually going back to the books and really honoring the book series in the way that she is Liz Orteco. She's Mexican-American, and this is a border town, and we're honoring, it's 2018, our political climate. All of those things are front and center in a way that I think we've never been in this beautiful moment where we are honoring fully and truly. So that's exciting. And we're all older, so they're not in high school. The book series is Roswell High, so they're not in high school. That's definitely different. And that's been a fun thing to play with, because you're older, you have less of a cheery disposition and outlook on life potentially, and then you're presented with this actually otherworldly revelation, and the way you cope, the way your ideas of the world and your idea of hope expands and possibility expands is actually endless on our show. That's so fun.
How much do you identify with your character? Because I know that you're from a Cuban family, and you're playing a Mexican-American girl with it almost in the border. Mm-hmm. So how important is this?
Probably the most important thing that I concern myself with is that I'm honoring Liz Orteco, and that I'm honoring her story, and that I'm taking care of our undocumented characters. Our writers are working with Define American, which is this wonderful organization started by Jose Vargas, who's an awesome activist, undocumented activist. He came out famously on Time magazine as undocumented years ago. And we've really been working to make sure that our story is an accurate portrayal of the undocumented experience, and that audiences will get to love Arturo Orteco, who's my dad, who's played by an actor named Carlos Compian. And he is such a talented actor, and our relationship, the ways in which we find buttons at the end of all of our scenes, so that it's like recently we did a scene where we were like eating at the Crash Down, which is an iconic, location in this series, and we're sharing pancakes and we like cheersed our forks at the end. You know what I mean? Like just little ways we can really sell that, like this is just another family, and this is just a father and a daughter who are there for each other and are looking out for each other, and their circumstances are unfortunate, So yeah, that's huge for me. And I do feel a lot of similarities. Even though I'm Cuban American, I am first generation in the States, like Liz is. She's Mexican American. So my parents were immigrants as well, and we had the beautiful blessing of being welcomed by America with open arms because we were seeking asylum from the communist regime. And Liz's family did not have that, unfortunately, to take care of them. But I feel connected to her a lot in the way that she's just here trying to do better than the generation before her. And that's what her dad wants for her.
Chris says that Shuri Apple will be directing the episodes. Mm-hmm. So have you had a chance to pick her brain about the character voice?
A little bit. We've emailed back and forth. She's so wonderful, and all of those actors are still, they've all gone on to do crazy things, but they have such a tender place in their hearts for this series. I feel like the property is just so exciting. And the fact that it lends itself to like alien stuff, people just love it, and so they're also excited. I met with Jason Bear, who played Max in the original series, and he was so kind to Nathan and I, and he just said, anything you need, give us a call. And he was like, this is so exciting what you're about to step into, and like, be excited, like, take it all in. And it's been lovely having a sort of like built-in support system from that original cast.
Will any of the original cast make cameos with you?
I mean, I'm so in the dark too that I feel like I generally don't have more information than even you guys have, you know? But I hope so. We definitely talk about it. And I've heard them sort of do little whispers. And anytime we get asked often, you know, like, what would our dream cameos be? And I'm like, oh, Colin Hanks. So we'll see. Yeah, I hope so.
Speaking of directors, what was it like working with Julie Plunk on the pilot?
Loved her. I had just come from a glorious year at Shondaland with Krista Vernoff and Betsy Beers at Grey's Anatomy, and I've also worked with Amy Sherman-Palladino. Actually, Nathan and I both worked with her on Bunheads. That's when we met years ago. And Julie felt like this other just badass woman in the industry that I hadn't gotten an opportunity to work with yet. So it was a big part of my going after this pilot so hard, this pilot season. I was just like, I want to work with Julie. And she absolutely, you know, outdid my expectations even of an experience working with her as a director. She was wonderful and so giving, and that woman's a machine. I mean, you can feel that she's just been doing this nonstop for as long as she has. Like, she is so at home and so on point on a set. It's amazing.
How about, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, who's next? I guess like Jenji Cohen.
Right? Oh,
right?
I would love that. Yeah. Or
That's a good list.
what's her name? Right? So far it's not so bad, right? Jill Soloway. I would love to work with her. I'm hoping that's next.
How about Paul? How was it working with Paul Wesley?
We actually just started. I had my first day with him
on,
what day is it today? On Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I like working with actor-directors. I think most actors do. There's just a little, I think they generally make a little more time for play, you know, and exploration. So this week will be a big week with him. This is his first, full week at work, starting Monday, so
okay.
I'm excited, yeah.
How much of a sci-fi fan are you?
I love this stuff. I think when I was little, I was split between being an artist, performer, and being an astronaut. I've always had, such a desire to go off and have play. I think there's a correlation there, but I mean, it's the discovery aspect of that and of this show that's so fun to be. This first season, we're establishing so much. It's the first season of any show, you know. But the way that they talk about season 2, it's like it's already written because there's so much we want to play with. And at this point, it's like, okay, it'll be there, you know. Okay, then we'll get. Yeah, it's amazing the stuff we're planting that'll lead into that. The way that strings are pulled and it just unravels because it's endless, you know. But the whole set really is. Everyone watches Ancient Aliens. We're all super into it. A bunch of nerds. On the pilot, it was some weird cloud or something over Arizona. So it's a bunch of these underground websites where it's happening. And we were look. It's pretty insane. We're all big nerds.
What can you say about the significant relationships in Liz's life? You mentioned her father. There's this love story. She has the best friend.
Yeah, her best friend is Maria, played by Miss Heather Hemmons, who is gloriousness embodied. And that's a fun relationship where we've had a couple episodes where they're just it's so heavy. The world is so heavy, and the revelations are so massive. And then it's I could just chill with my best friend on the rooftop of the cafe and smoke, which we honestly do in an episode. And it's rad. We're just getting high, being boys, man. It's rad. So I've loved how they've shaped that dynamic for her and the way they've sort of found a balance. It's humorous. It's more humorous than I thought it would be. And then there's her sister, who is the central murder mystery of the show, Rosa Ortego. And that's her person. That's her other half, and she's been dealing with the absence of her. It's what made her leave Roswell 10 years ago, and what's made her reluctant to return, because it's a place of so much hurt and pain for her. And now she comes back and starts to figure out the ways in which it's not settled for her yet, in which she hasn't been able to process, and she feels it's for a reason. So it's investigating, what is it that isn't settling well with me? What is it that's making me think this isn't the story I've been told always, that she died in this fashion? There's more here. Amber Midthunder is on Legion, and she's amazing. She plays Rosa Ortego, and we've had so much fun working together. I was, a year ago, I was at a film festival, and someone came up to me in the bathroom, and they were like, "Are you the girl from Legion?" And I'm like, "No." And I was like, "I wonder who that girl is. Someone must look, we must look alike." And it's Amber, and now we play sisters, which is hilarious. So it's been really fun.
What do you think about the reimagination of some shows, but to be more inclusive? For example, in Roswell, we have a Latin character, the main character. Magnum P.I. is going to be Latin, Charm. and Bewitched is going to be an African American girl. What do you think about all this reimagination for more inclusion?
I think it's wonderful. When we look at the landscape of our world, it's not right now reflective TV of our diversity, just percentages-wise. So it's wonderful that we're getting there. And this year, I think, was a strong push for that in the way that so many leads in particular are diverse and are people of color. And it's been amazing to see my photo on those headlines of like one of the 7 that are leading network, you know. That wasn't my experience of watching TV growing up entirely, you know. I remember watching Gossip Girl and Jessica, how do you say that last name? Whenever there's a Z in there, I get confused. I remember thinking like, Zor, right? I remember watching her on Gossip Girl feeling like she's a little ethnically ambiguous, like she could be Latina, she could be like Afro-Latina, she could be, you know what I mean, some sort of mix. And I remember thinking like, oh, maybe I can get that job. Maybe I can get her because maybe they'll let me do it if they're like, oh, well, Latina, she looks kind of whitish. And then now we're like here. It's just so exciting. Because I want the girl at home to be like, oh, I could be the lead. Easy peasy. Let me like pack up my bags, move to LA. I mean, it's not that easy, let's be real. But you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Thanks, guys.